Date point. 4th year, 9th month, 2nd week, 6th day, AV. Fall for colony, Simbrine, the far reaches. Adam Aries. What about the mountaintop? They're building an observatory up there. Big Bay? Contaminated. Little Bay? Contaminated last week. Come on, Sarah. This place got boring. Adam and Ava nodded. There were no longer any interesting knots of forest to explore, no lakes to leap into, no view that wasn't the clean-baked aftermath of the ravenous logging, and with the ballooning population of Fulford beginning to seriously tax the capacity of the colony's basic power grid, rationing had been imposed, which made Adam's PlayStation an occasional luxury, rather than a reliable source of entertainment. He'd already used up all his credits. So had the girls. A convoy of trucks bullied past the school, further mutilating the dirt road, which was already in dire need of a more permanent surface. Maybe we could go see what they're doing. Doll, it's something. Sarah made a disgusted noise to match her equally revolted expression. I guess. They jogged after the convoy, which pulled in at one of the Byron building sites on the colony's edge. A promised starport, currently an industrial mangrove swamp of cranes and scaffolding, putting their roots down in excavated but unfinished foundations. The kids lined up at the chain-link fence, peering between the corporate hoardings and safety nurses, taking it in. The artist's impressions certainly looked pretty, but for now this was just another eyesore. It was hard to imagine how one could become the other. With nothing better to do, they just stood and watched the workers fan out across the construction site, picking up where they had left off the previous night. Guess they're pouring the foundations today, Sarah commented, pointing at a family of cement trucks that were entering the site from the other side, reversing up to one of the foundations, which was basically just a pit, filled with a welded industrial cage of rebar. Adam frowned. So, what's that guy doing? He asked. He didn't point, but managed to indicate with the direction of his gaze which worker he was referring to. He hadn't practiced crowd washing since leaving Earth, but the skill had apparently stuck with him. It wasn't just that the guy wasn't with all the others. It was that he seemed to be carefully keeping some concealment between himself and his colleagues. Maybe he's sloping off for a fag break? Sarah asked. When Adam and Ava gave her a strange look, she sighed. Cigarette. The lone worker found somewhere he was apparently satisfied with, and pulled a brick-sized object of some description from inside his high-vis jacket, which he promptly stuffed into a cement mixer. That didn't look like a cigarette, Ava commented. I don't like this. I'm calling my dad, Adam said. Are you sure about that? I mean, maybe we should find out what it is first, Sarah said. No, if it's a false alarm, it's no big deal, but if it's dangerous, we should let the FCPA handle it, Adam said firmly. Cell phone coverage in Fulford was at least ubiquitous. The colony was far too small, flat, and open for that to be an issue, and Gabriel answered on the third ring. Hey, amigo. Dad, we're down by the Byron spaceport site. There's somebody down here acting real suspicious. I'm on my way, Gabriel said. Adam grinned, relieved and delighted that his dad trusted his instincts so implicitly. What's he up to? Slipped away from the other workers and hid something in a cement mixer. Could be a drugs drop. How big is something? About the size of a big cell phone, I guess. Adam shrugged off a tap of his shoulder. Right, keep an eye on him, but don't get close, okay? I need to hang up and get down. Oh, shit! Adam swore, as he glanced around in response to the increasingly urgent tap on his shoulder. Just in time to see Sarah's boots wriggle out of sight onto the fence. He rushed to the fence. Sarah, what the fuck are you doing? He hissed. She raised her camera. Getting a picture of this guy in case he slips away. Sarah! She ducked behind a pile of girders. Sarah, for fuck's sake, get back here! Adam hissed, as loud as he dared. She didn't reappear. Oh god, Dad, Sarah just went in there. She's trying to get a picture of the guy. To his horror, he saw the guy who had dropped the whatever it was in the machine pause and glance back, clearly having caught some movement down to the corner of his eye. A second later, he began to march purposely back towards the mixer, tugging something from the back of his jeans. There was something both wrong and familiar about the way he held it, though. Something in the way he moved. Something that flashed him right back to a roller derby in San Diego. Dad, he said, his voice becoming too calm, too flat, as if his subconscious knew just how critical it was to speak clearly now, despite the dryness in his mouth and the pummeling in his chest. The guy just pulled a gun and he's walking like Mr. Johnson did. Mierda. Adam, please don't do anything stupid, okay? Sarah's in there. Mantenna la cama! You go after her and you'll just give him more hostages and maybe victims. Adam nodded, swallowed. Entiendo. Hurry. Estoy corriendo. I love you. Gabriel hung up. The phone rang. Powell. Powell, it's Aries. Possible hierarchy at the spaceport site. Armed. One of the kids is in there. Powell didn't even respond. He just dropped the handset and rushed to the door, erupting from it in a whirlwind of screaming orders. Gear up! Jones, get me the ATVs this second! Legsy, who never went by Jones unless the situation was beyond dire, practically teleported in his haste to obey. They were mounted and moving in less than a minute. "We've got possible hierarchy at the spaceport construction site," Powell yelled over the engines, performing his weapons checks as they went. "At least one child mixed up in it, possible hostage. So check your fire. We're going for live capture if possible, but keeping the child alive is priority number 1. Beware of other workers in the area. We're going to be checking them once the kid's secure. Don't let your fucking guard down." Satisfied that his gun was in working order, he hopped off the ATV as it slid to a halt only a few dozen meters from the site. "If there are any questions, make them fucking quick," he said. There were none. Silent as ghosts, quick as nightmares, they stormed the construction site. "Oh god!" Ava was suddenly animated, pale and shedding distraught tears. Oh god, he's gonna find her." "What?" "She's hiding in those cement bags over there." Adam didn't have time to get to the fence and see which one she meant, before he was paralysed by the firecracker popping of gunfire, and the sound of Ava's anguished scream. Armoured and ready to kick ass is one thing, but knowing there were kids in danger, and hearing the gunfire had routed even the SBS team to the spot for just an instant. Fuck, go! In the next instant, they exploded from among the construction and equipment. Their quarry turned and raised his gun towards the first flash of movement. An unseen trooper crashed into him from behind, disarming and restraining him in one smooth motion. Neutralized. "Find the kid!" His men fanned out, calling for the girl. Powell didn't need to. The second he stopped and listened, he heard her. He stuck his head over a sack of cement bags. The girl was whimpering and weeping. She was covered in white cement dust, and there was a smear of horribly familiar red around where she was cradling her side. "Ross!" Powell grabbed the bags and heaved, spilling them everywhere as he dug her out. The girl was small, brown-haired, skinny. The only clean spot on her was where her tears had washed away a pink track in the cement dust, revealing a few freckles. There was a lot of blood. It was staining her mouth as she sobbed. "Hey, we've got you, okay?" he said, taking a hand. Ross was already joining him, pulling stuff from his bag. "You're safe now, we'll get you fixed." Her grip was weak and trembling. She whispered something to him. "Scared." Powell was used to death. He had seen men and women die, often by his own hand. Some, so close that he could feel their last breath. He had lost comrades in action, seen what modern weaponry could do to a human being. He had seen death take all kinds of people. He thought he had seen it take children. He had seen enough sad little corpses. But never like this. When he closed her eyes, her tears soaked his glove.